focus on Liberia. Hey. From Cape Mount to Cape Palmas, mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Bokonjre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, hey, in diaspora, current affairs, hey, reliable information, history, talking about culture, hey, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Top Talking Thursday on Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis John. We are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. Tonight, we're going to be hearing from the political bulldog who is in Monrovia. He is on the ground and he is reporting exactly as he sees it. There is a comment saying that, oh, you're not in Liberia, come on the ground. Well, Mr. Anthony C.A. is on the ground and he's going to be telling us, giving us his analysis about how things are in Monrovia. Let me welcome Alice Wilson Momba. Alice, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dennis. It's always a pleasure being here.
And our man who has been in Monrovia on a business trip, Mr. Anthony C.A., also the operational manager of Focus on Liberia. Mr. C.A., welcome to the show.
Dennis, thank you. It's good to be here. Alice, it's good to see you. I'm excited.
Good.
Yeah, home is home. I'm here. I am free being home, and I see a lot of challenges as it has been, and I see opportunities. And I'm prepared for me to share what I see and to do some analysis as well. It is an interesting place to be.
Thank you. And since you've been there, there have been a lot happening, from the Supreme Court to all kinds of things happening in Monrovia. How the people and how is Monrovia? What are people really talking about in the street? Is there a difference? You looking at things while you are in Liberia and then also in America. What do you see overall?
Then it's interestingly, humans all over the world are the same. Just as in America, not everybody following the politics. Some people are busy with their personal lives. Some people are about, their personal life and not too much involved with the politics. Liberia, you find some people who are not too much into the politics, but that does not mean that they are not politically active and sensitive to the things that are happening around them. In fact, in Liberia, it's like anything that happens, every Liberian sees politics in it. So while it is true that many don't want to get themselves involved, but they are so sensitive to all the things that are happening and they all see politics in it.
All right. So a lot of things going on in Monrovia, as we reported. You see a lot of burning, a lot of smoke. There is a Siren law. There is third lane. There is noise everywhere. Business centers and as you said, business centers, churches everywhere. regardless whether it's residential area. We also see the public facility, the maintenance issue. You want to talk about also you visited South Beach and you saw on the ground how things are. I mean, all kinds of things, and then people are all still debating
Mm.
the Prophet Key case everywhere. So you just pick where you want to start from, and then we're just going to follow your lead. A lot to chew on.
Yeah, Dennis, I think I want to start with my experience at the famous Beach, the Monrovia Central Prison. I live in Liberia up to my 32nd birthday, and I did not go there. And not until when I'm this old man and I had the opportunity to go and see the place. And when I enter, I was shocked that the place is not being maintained and that is in a very terrible shape. The walls are dark. I mean, not only the fence, but the buildings in there. They are so terrible as though they have never been painted since the war ended. I repeat, as though they have never been painted since the war started. That is what I saw. And I'm like, okay. So this is in Monrovia. This is the capital. And this first prison cell I want to obtain is in this terrible shape and condition. Imagine how other prisons might be looking in other counties. And I asked myself, is it that they are not budgeting for the renovation of this place? Or is it that the money is too small that it can't get the work done? Then another thing I noticed is that when you enter, they have a little system in place. You will register. I think I like that part. You register, they take your name and they take your personal effect from you. And then they will take you in a room where they have to search you. According to them, they're doing that because others were taking drugs to some of the inmates in there. And I think I also like that because, some people will do other things. But the thing that shocked me was that the room that they are taking visitors in to search, it does not have a door. What we have there as a door is a cloth. You
Lapa
know,
video.
you were inside now, you were in the weekend. Sometimes to the door, they put a cloth there, and that's what I saw. And Alice, this is Monrovia. This is what's supposed to be the number one prison facility in our country, in
Yeah.
the capital Monrovia. And the designated room to search visitors to ensure that they are not going in there with things that they're not supposed to carry. It has no door, and the door that they have there is a cloth, and the cloth is dirty.
Oh my
It's
God.
what I saw, and I could not believe that was happening in the capital city, Monrovia, Dennis. And Dennis, if you want me to continue, so when we left that room, entering where the part of the facility where they have the cells, as soon as we went through that gate, there's a huge part of garbage. And then the odor from it will hit you and you will feel it that this is terrible.
The
This
garbage
is
inside the building or outside?
so it is within the fence.
Oh, okay.
It is within the fence. And it is right on the right hand side as soon as you enter when you're looking at the prison cells. That huge part of garbage is right there. And the odor from it is so offensive that it will hit you and you will get concerned that I may get sick from this thing. And then I look at all of the buildings in there. In fact, in the yard, it seems to be that when they built the place, the yard was like kind of maybe they had cement in the yard that it cast the floor. But you could see that all those things, those cement floors were all broken apart. And so you are walking on bare floor. And then I was told that the inmates that are in the upper level of those buildings, those are the people who were engaged in armed robbery. And as I look at each window, especially those of them upstairs, about 5 to 6 persons will be finding their way to look through the window to see who are coming in. And they will be waving to you. And I did not see shirt on any of them because it was hot. They were feeling uncomfortable in there. Then it's something to see. So when we move in, there's a place like in Labrador, we'll say porch, where they have benches for us to sit. And then some of the prisoners who've been around will go and get whoever you went to visit. And even those seats they have for us, I mean, it's like the seat I sat in my village of Diabo, and we're talking the capital city. I mean, they are so bad that you can compare it with the desks at the University of Liberia. Can you imagine? I'm using the University of Labrador decks as an example.
That would be worse.
This is how bad it is. But those were the seats they had for us. And so we sat there, and those I went to see, they came and we had a conversation and we left. The last thing I want to talk about, just in case you have another question. So, Dr. Pearson, thanks for joining us here. At every prison cell, from what we know, from what we see, the inmates there, they are always in uniform. It is obvious that in Liberia, they're supposed to be in an orange jumpsuit. But Dr. Pearson, I did not see a befitting jumpsuit. Let me not say suit. I did not even see a befitting orange shirt on any of the inmates. What I saw was just anything orange, any of them will wear it, and that's supposed to represent the orange jumpsuit an inmate supposed to wear to identify them as an inmate. I'm telling you what I saw. One of the inmates I went to visit, he had on a basketball kind of orange muscle arm shirt, and that was his jumpsuit to identify him as a prisoner. And I could not believe that was happening in Monrovia.
Right.
Dennis?
Maybe this was your first time, so you were shocked. Alice, Dr. Pearson, any experience with the South Beach? That's in Monrovia Central Prison. And what of your experience, if any, differs from what Mr. C is explaining? Or this is just normal and he's just shocked because this was his first time at South Beach?
Well, actually, it is fun. I have never been there before, for any reason. So what he's explaining, I'm shocked as well, considering that South Beach is in the center of Monrovia. And so if inmates over there don't have suit to identify them as inmates, then how much more about people that are in the various counties? And so it's, talking about garbage. So being in prison, I know some people are in prison, they are not guilty, but to really treat them like that, it's kind of disheartening, to be frank. And I think something has to be done, to make sure that this South Beach looks like a prison in Monrovia.
Thank you. Dr. Pearson, do you think this is intentional, so to discourage people from going to jail?
Hi to my fellow panelists, Sis Alice, Mr. C, Mr. Jai, and our viewers and listeners out there. Look, I mean, I even though before I came on, I was listening to Anthony trying to describe the Liberia Central Prison, the South Beach. I have never been in there before, even though I function with some friends who work with what they call the Prison Fellowship in Liberia. But I didn't get to go and see inside the South Beach. I think I just had some level of phobia being in such a place. But I'm aware of the like Anthony mentioned, if the South Beach, which is the major prison in our country, looks like that, and what's about the other holding cells? So I've been fortunate to have gone to other police depot cells and thinking I've seen how those places look. They're horrible, Dennis. They're very horrible. If you went to any of the police stations in Liberia there and you went and saw where they have as holding cells, you will be shocked. And Anthony mentioned the bad odor, right? So from my own experience, every police depot I went to for issues, and maybe I mention them later, enter into there. The first thing I hate you when you enter the place is the heat and that stench. It hits you like you ready to go into a brick wall. That's how you feel. And when you the funny thing about when you leave from there, your clothes on you smell like the prison after you should have left. I mean that's how horrible those things are. Your skin are less sticky, right? But these are issues that we've had conversations over in Liberia over and over, especially when OMIL was there, because OMIL had their staff would go and do spot check to see the prison condition, because OMIL also was being evaluated in the annual report and in the reports from the operation in Liberia, and those are one of the indicators they had to check off on as to the human rights being respected. There were numerous accounts where the prison facilities conditions were flagged. They were flagged by OMIL in the reports, and those reports are still available for us if we were to go and look for them. So yeah, I think our prison conditions are bad. Anthony, Mr. Jai asked the question: whether these unkept situation is intentional. I think it's intentional. Not intentional in a way that somebody say I'm not going to paint it, but if you look at even our, like somebody say, the university, trying to compare some of the facilities in our university. Look at LU campus. Look at the graduate building of the LU. Up to now, some of us, we try to even irritate people by being so vocal in how we post on social media. It didn't change them a bit. And these guys pass by the University of Liberia every single day. All right. And some of them go there to teach. And they see the property in this dilapidated form, and they can do nothing to repair them. Somebody told me BWI is the same way. Right?
Yeah,
everything is run down, but these are our people. They
Thank
prefer
you.
the fancy cars in a flashy home compared to public institutions looking proper.
Thank you, Mr. Sia. Before we move on to another, some of your other observation, is that situation normalized? When you look at the people around you, were they uncomfortable, or it look like business as usual, or they don't smell anything anymore?
Then I think it's kind of normal to them, I will say. And it's like, well, we can't make the authorities to do what they're supposed to do to make the place a befitting facility. And so we will accept it as normal. I think that is my sense of the whole situation, because the rooms that I talk about that they have designated to check visitors to ensure that they're not taking anything like drugs in the facility that they're not supposed to take. They have a designated room for female, and there's a female correctional officer at the entrance. And again, at the other one too, there is a cloth hanging as a door. And when you enter, the walls are filthy, but as though they feel comfortable being there. I don't think they have trouble that they are serving in a public facility that does not represent the country, and they are there. Then I saw so many things that were comfortable with, maybe because I've been away for a long time, but I don't think it should be because I've been away. We can actually do better. Did I see anything that is okay? Yes, I explained that when you enter, they have a little system in place, you register, and then there's somebody to talk to you, to explain to you how the whole visiting procedure will go. Those who carry food, they tell them they have to taste. They have a little system in place. I like that part. And and then they will call you to collect the food and carry. They have that system in place. Another thing I saw that I think I'm okay with is that the correctional officers, they hire uniform. Your man Nwanza Gibson will say they were uniform. I don't know why. The correctional officers hire uniform. They had I think it's a great uniform. It's a little more befitting. Maybe they got a reason or so. So I like that part.
Thank you. And we got a lot to cover. But Alex, before we cover that, how can we listen to this and how can we respond without sounding condescending? Because people will look at it and say, oh, they're in America, and so they are condemning us. So I want to be very sensitive to that part. Help me how do we approach this situation so we don't sound like, oh, we think we're better? Because how can Anthony visit us and tell us things are looking so bad?
I don't think there's anything that will show that we are condescending, because most time, if something is going wrong and nobody talks about it, people think it's business as usual. So when you bring it to the open and discuss it, like we are doing now, it helps. Because some people don't know, some people have not traveled other places before to compare. You have to compare this facility to another facility to make sure that yours is not in a good shape. If you don't have anything to compare, you think that it's normal. But no, it's not normal, because somebody who knows the difference is talking about it. And I think some people are listening. And from there, they might try to maybe put a door to where they're checking people. I mean, how can you put a cloth to visitors that are going to see inmates?
Yeah.
It's not that we don't have planks to make doors. So those are simple things that can be worked upon if somebody talks about it. That's how I see it.
Thank you. That's Lapabido. Mr. C, what else?
Then the final thing I think I mentioned the jumpsuit, right? And I saw that they are also cooking for them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Besides the prison, anything else?
Yeah, we're moving on.
Let me say one more thing on that prison.
Yeah. Let me conclude on the prison thing, because the question you asked. Yeah, the question you asked is significant. Yeah, let me conclude my 10 seconds here. The question then it asks is because the thing is, people must say, oh, he's talking a day because he's been away. No, we can do better. What we're talking about is maintenance of the place. The building must be painted. The building must be good condition. Our fellow citizens are there, though some of them might have committed crimes that while they are there, but that doesn't mean that we should reduce them or put them in a facility that will be, not good to their health. And that facility represents the country. When someone visits that facility and see it in that condition, that person will not have respect for us as a country. It means that we are not providing better leadership. That's a facility that must be maintained. And that's what we're talking about.
Thank you. Dr. Pearson, your 10 seconds.
Yeah, so you see, one of the things, in addition to all of the points that we mentioned, what is even more disturbing about this whole issue about the dilapidated condition of the prison is the fact that people of great stature have been there. Like the other day, and we had J. Fonati Kofa in there, right? We have Lawrence Mususkat in there, right? We had the former defense minister who stole money from AFN was Brani Samuka was in there. And there are other high-profile individuals who've been in there and have come out and they hold key positions in government, and they're not doing anything to see the embarrassment that they pose to us. And this is just a central prison. When you go across the local police, central prison. And I think something needs to be done about it, because this is not something strange. There's something that have come up, multiple times, international and local and national reports from civil society as well.
Thank you. And Mr. Sia, let's use that as a segue into another thing, which is because it speaks more to the maintenance of public facilities. Sometimes I see pictures, we all see pictures from University of Liberia. I see pictures of the finance ministry, pictures. Tadmar used to be like that. I believe they say it's not like that anymore. BWI. And when I was in Monrovia many years ago, I saw like Sacred Heart Cathedral, like the mold on these buildings and all that. Talk to me about maintenance overall of these public facilities.
Then the maintenance is a big issue in Liberia. And I will conclude that when it comes to our public facilities, maintenance is not being given a priority. And I think that is a huge mistake. And it is visible everywhere you go. Imagine the whole nation, every citizen has complained about the condition of the University of Liberia. Year after year, students, alumni, have talked about this, and as though no one is hearing us. The University of Liberia is in a terrible shape. It has become a national shame and disgrace. It's not only the main campus, the same can be said about the Fenner's campus.
Mr. Steele, let me interject. I know we see the pictures. Now you are in Monrovia. Did you see the University of Liberia campus being like that, or is all propaganda from pictures on the internet?
Then this is not propaganda, it is reality. What you're seeing is far less than what the reality actually is, because anyone taking pictures will not go everywhere. I'm sure you have not seen a bathroom. You have not seen pictures of everywhere. Imagine what you've seen from people trying to take pictures. How much more when you have the opportunity to tour the facility, you will see much more that will actually shock you beyond your belief. And this is happening because Dennis, priority is not given to maintenance. Look at the University of Liberia. I think this current budget, they put 40 million in there, right? What can 40 million do? 40 million, even if you put it on maintenance, it may not be able to do enough. But that is the amount they are relying on to do everything the University of Liberia. So maintenance is a problem. Maintaining the campus, the yard, maintaining the buildings, other facilities in there, then there's $40 million cannot do it. And that is the only reason why the condition has been like that. It is not a priority. Now, if you look in the government, we can all name, each name here maybe 10% or 5 who graduated from the university and are in government. The former finance minister, a graduate of the University of Liberia, Samuel Tuer. The current finance minister, a graduate of these two I mentioned, they were all student leaders. They advocated for better conditions, better facilities at the University of Liberia. Look, the young students you see today on the University of Liberia who are advocating for better conditions and better facility and maintenance, the other day they were painting the building. The students in protest were painting the building. Now, every official or government passes along that main campus, including the president. The senators are there. That's the place they have to pass before they get to work. Then it's as though they are not hearing us, they are not seeing this thing, but then it is not important to them. And I really don't know how to explain it. And then here's the reality. The Capitol building is right there. In the yard of the Capitol building, as we speak, the rake that you use when you were growing up in Dodocoin to collect leaves from the yard, they are still using it in the yard of the Capitol building. They are still using chapia. The chapia are used in Sastan, Grand Crew County. When I was in grade school to cut grass, that is what they are using in the yard of the Capitol building. I'm talking about an institution that gets above $40 million every year. They cannot even get a lawnmower to give to their fellow citizens who are responsible to take care of the place. This is what we're talking about.
What do you say about Dr. Pearson? Maintaining public facilities. Mr. Sia just named few. I mean, why? Why is this happening?
So it's safe to say that just look back in retrospect. This is an age-old problem with Liberia, and it only goes to say you find it in our homes. All right, it is just now that a number of us have started to take another turn. In fact, at one point in time, I remember after the civil crisis, the city corporation used to go around. If you didn't paint your house before Christmas Day, then they will fine you small money. And those are some of the threats that have people to start painting their property. But I understand the ordinary person who cannot afford the means, to keep up with that kind of stuff. But for people who running the nation and bear the responsibility to be the steward of our country in public facilities, who's supposed to be the best representation of the entire population, cannot demonstrate that level of responsibility to ensure that if we have public buildings, especially educational facilities. Of everything else, let me just talk about that educational facility. President Boycott took guests to LU main campus to launch a PhD program. I was sitting in my office here, and when I saw that thing on Facebook, I went immediately and did a live, and I said, and I was telling my beginning at I said, "You're the President Boycott and a guest. You're carrying them to the bathroom behind the auditorium where they're sitting. Carry them to the bathroom." And that live blew up only because it was the reality. President Boycott was holding a high profile a launch of a PhD program in facilities that does not even look conducive to host or high school, which was very embarrassing. All right. So I said this to say, look, I think our people who running the country, like Anthony did well by naming a lot of them, myself included. We should be able to sit and look back and say, look, this is the platinum of education facilities in the country. This is the face of Liberia education, the University of Liberia, right? This is our own Ivy League kind of a university in the country that was once respected around the sub-region. Why is it lying there? And these very poor Anthony names, some of them are even professors at the university, besides the pay they're taking from government job. They are lecturers at the university, including the speaker of the house. It's a lecturer in our university. The justices are lecturers in the university. Some of our lawmakers are lecturers at the university. Ministers are lecturers at the university. Even Gafwan, it's sometimes you go there as visitor to the university to lecture. Why are they sitting there and they are seeing public building so dilapidated? It beats my imagination. And there will be people who will come up and criticize us and say, "Oh, you shouldn't be having any kind of conversation. You shouldn't be condemning the government." Someone said to me one time, "You guys who are the alumni of the organization, go back and go face it." Pray tell me, where in the world that you think that the public university be catered for in terms of like keeping it in good condition by graduates of the university? If we did that, it's a plus. It's a form of a kindness. It is not our responsibility to do that. I didn't go to UL for free. When I went to UL up to my graduate level program, I pay. If I didn't have the money to pay, they kicked me out of the program. So why should they tell me I should be the one to leave now because I graduated from there to go and fix it? It does not make sense. So I know I would say people should man up and not allow those facilities that we have built over the years sit down there and just get broken down, and then we leave it and go build new ones that President Boycott did in 4 years. He left our OAU building, the building that is made for the very same purpose that he went and built the one in 4 years. They said they spent $6 million or $10 million. That 10 or $6 million could renovate the OAU building. Could renovate the OAU building and bring it back to standard. That was the pride of Liberia when it comes to peace talk and other kind of things that we have. Why is it still languishing and then we went and build something else in 4 years where President Boycott will have to go use a company, a chapel to go and visit? Because he doesn't have his own chapel because the roads are not good. What sense does that make?
Thank you. And yes, I think I saw a video where Councillor Gonglo was at the Unity Conference Center. And the building is still strong and people can use it. But Alice, where do we start, right? Because sometimes it's one thing to say the government, but even the people, right? Because and we'll come to another part here. Mr. C talk about the trash in the compound of the prison, right? And so sometimes we build churches. There's no bathroom. I don't know whether there's any city code that calling for bathrooms to be. You can have a school anywhere. There's no bathroom. So people will just ease themselves anywhere. There's nothing requiring anybody to say, this is the condition before we do this. And people too, the citizens themselves, or the people that are using these facilities, it's like you go in there and it's normal. So what do we do? Where do we start? Who do we hold? We hold government, we hold people, we hold president. What is it? Where do we start from? Legislators? Where? What do we do?
Dennis, it's kind of frustrating because the same people that are in leadership, some of them do go to the university and play the tactics of divide and rule, so that if one group of students are protesting, there will be others that will counter protest. That's how they get away with most of the things that they do. Because there's no reason why most of the people that are being named tonight working in government, I think that should have been the first thing to think about. When I was at the University of Liberia, it was still dilapidated. It's been over 20 years and still in the same condition. We used to be in a chemistry lab and rain falling right in there. So why these things, after so many years, we have the same people that were advocating yesterday on the university campus, Gafuan. By 1992, they were at the university. Leaders advocating every day. But once you give them the opportunity, they forget. Why must we live like this as a country? People are not embarrassed to carry guests at the University of Liberia, knowing the condition that the university has been in for decades. I don't understand how they feel. We do the same thing over and over. Yet they go to the university and make promises that when they get to power, they're going to do X, Y, Z. And when they get to power, nothing is done. And we keep voting these people.
Alex, before you continue, I know we emphasize the University of Liberia, but I think you've seen picture of the finance ministry. I think you've seen even in the House of Representatives, the Capitol building, where Miriam Bro had to take a group there and say, clean your bathrooms.
Yes.
Right? What is this all about?
You know, I visited there before, and they had a drum there with water and buckets. But these are people that are making millions. How long does it take to have a bathroom with running water? That was not the case. Some of the bathrooms were filthy. So people, I don't understand whether they feel comfortable or they think it's not their business, you know. But I think one thing that Liberia needs to do, if I were in leadership, is to teach patriotism 101. People do not have love for the country. I think there were it boils down to. If you love something, you're going to take good care of it. But as it is, it's like people got their farms. They just go there and reap crops and just leave. That's what they think. They go to the government and get what they can get and forget the rest of the things. So how do we continue to live like this? This is the question that is before everybody. Seems like there's no solution because it has been happening over and over.
Thank you. Mr. Sia, I know you've been to other buildings. I know I heard the ministerial complex is clean, things are fine. You also see that some of these buildings, the walls outside this building, that bathroom for people, and all kinds of things going on. Tell me more. I mean, what are some of the bright spots that you saw when it comes to maintaining these buildings? That somewhere you went and say, yes, even from the outside.
Then it's the case of the ministerial complex. I will argue that it's a little better because it's a newer facility. And the same can be said about other new facilities that have been built recently. If you went there, they will look okay because they are new. And I think that is by far the primary reason why it's in a little more better shape. But even at that, the last time when the General Services Agency decided to pin the building, there was a press conference to pin the building. I mean, that should be maintenance guys doing their monthly or weekly routine work that didn't require a press conference. And, you know, so for the ministerial complex, I enter the Ministry of Gender, I enter the Labor Ministry, I enter the CSA, and the facility is intact. It could be much more maintained. The CSA wing, you see structure when you enter. There's a desk where you will be welcome, a befitting desk. You will be welcome, and there is a guest room, like a waiting room. It's in glass. When you enter there, there's air condition. It's befitting. It's up to international standard. When you say that, say yes, this represents Liberia. And then you can be ushered and you went into the conference room, you will see a similar thing in most of the offices. The furniture in there, they are all intact. All right. The same can be said about the Ministry of Gender that I visited, except for the Ministry of Gender, the front decks, the decks they have there is not befitting. And on the side of the Ministry of Agriculture, the decks they have there at the front desk, the reception desk, is a little bit okay. I didn't see a conference room, where guests will wait before they are taken to whoever they went to visit. I don't remember seeing that. So for the ministerial complex, I think the reason why the facility itself is in a much better shape is because it's new. The NOCA they just dedicated a new building. So if you enter, you will see that, yes, this is up to date. The City Hall, for example, I didn't enter, but I always passing through there. I feel that the outside could be in a much better condition than what it is. So I didn't enter, so I can't say much about the inner part of the building. So I will conclude on public facility maintenance. I think we Liberians, we are poor when it comes to maintaining facility, especially when it comes to government facility. Now, put it on the other side. Look at cars. These guys, even though government bought these guys for their use, they see those cars as their personal property. So those cars are maintained. They have drivers, and then where maybe we can get a clue from, right? The man has driver who is responsible for the maintenance of the car. I have friends, who are in government. I visit them. When I'm in the yard, sitting in the yard, I see the drivers are maintaining those cars. Almost every day, those cars are watched. Do we have people designated for this facility to maintain them daily? I want to believe people are on government payroll to do that. But to what extent are they consistent with maintaining those facility in condition, that will make them look good and representative of us as a people as compared to their cars? The last time we saw your man, Jerry Lemepia, were cutting grass and all that. They did some renovation at the Ministry of Information. When they took over, it was terrible, but they done some work. So it's looking okay. I like the way it looked, but it's not what I wanted to be. I think some people came in and chipped in some money here and that. I mean, it had to take other people to contribute. So then there's on the overall, when it comes to things that the public must benefit from, those things that are the faces of the country, our leaders always looking for us our help. The reason why the university is looking at that, they are looking for people to come from, how to do it. For example, the airport we have, foreigners gave us money. The very ministerial complex we're talking about, foreigners gave us money. We always looking to others to do for us what we should be doing for ourselves. And the Capitol building that got burned, even though they said, well, maybe put the money in the budget, I guarantee you, it may not get fixed until foreigners give us money. Even the annexes that we have right now, Chinese continue to pump money in. That's why we have those annexes that we have today.
Thank you. Dr. Clarence Pearson, the war finished ever since, but we're still on NGO. But let's move forward. I mean, this whole mentality of not able to maintain, because for instance, human beings want to be, I wouldn't say control, but you need structure, you need system to operate. For me to put something in the trash can, there must be a trash can. For me not to build, or for me not to pee on the side of the road. What one old man was telling me, he said, I'm 60 years old, Dennis, I'm 70 years old. I'm driving from Roberts International Airport to Monrovia. There is no bathroom on the way. I mean, how do I stop and use the bathroom? So if these things are not available, if it is not required that the school you are building here, you need bathroom, or the church you're building here, you need bathroom, and this school you need both male and female bathroom, all these things. If there's nothing required, or if there's nothing forcing people to do it, we human beings, we like freedom. We will do whatever we want because nobody is asking us to do likewise. Dr. Pearson.
Dennis, from my experience living in Liberia for all my life, I should say, even now I'm there frequently. Don't let people join you in time. right? If you're in Central Monrovia, right? Broad Street, Randall Street, wherever you are in the Central Monrovia, don't let PP jam you. There's nowhere to PP. And one of the things, and I usually want to put on us and I say PP, I don't want to say urinate. There's nowhere for you to PP. And even if you wanted to, you gotta fix something like maybe go to somebody a restaurant, and even the bathroom you're gonna see in that restaurant is not very clean as well. Or you fake and go into the banks, and the one you're gonna meet there also not even some of them even down, right? So yeah, you got it right. And on the highway, of course, there are a lot of bushes, so it covers the lack of facilities. But yeah, we should think about these things. We should think about developing our country in a way that presents structure that people see and can say, yeah, these guys are developing themselves. No, we got places that we consider to be bus stop or place to go get vehicle, whether it is Macklin Street or how they call it, people used to go where they get a bus stop, right? I think around Carey Street and somewhere they had to call it again. Then the street didn't just slip in my mind. But they will pick up bus from in the evening, where they going Painesville or looking town. That it's not Garden Street, but it's around almost close to Garden Street way there. All right.
We got your point.
Yeah, normal they used to go back Christmas closing on that same street. That way you get AME, I think AME Zion or something like that.
Camp Johnson Road?
Ken Johnson Road.
But then you say Monrovia College, then you're talking about AME Zion?
Yeah, so Kim Johnson Road right there. They got, so what I'm saying is that all the places we got the major stop, or even to ERL General, we got the parking station, it's not developed already. It's not developed where you go, like you see regular, normal, up to this standard parking station with facilities that for if you want to use the restroom and all that kind of thing, zero.
And the gas stations as well.
Huh?
I see at gas stations, they're supposed to have bathrooms.
Yeah. Johnson Street. Somebody got it right. It's Johnson Street. So these things are bad. But let me end on this note here, Dennis. With the thing about LU, somebody mentioned on here that one of our viewers mentioned the University of Liberia management. I agree with the person partially because the University of Liberia management let's just say they receive 40 million every year. Within that 40 million every year, there's money for maybe maintenance and what we call one-time purchase materials, right? So something that if you spend on today, you sort of spend on it next year, you sort of spend on the following year. But our national budget is designed a way that it stick on fixed numbers. So fixed asset that you pay for that you're supposed to buy 2 times in a row, that same money still come back to you. So what are they doing with the money, right? So if you have money for maintenance and you maintain the building this year, is it in good condition after maybe 2 years before you do the same maintenance service in? So what is it they're using the money on? I know that the LU president was called by the Senate the other day, and she mentioned that in the Senate hearing that they even though the money is in the budget, but they don't receive the money, and she was complaining about that, why they had the difficulty they were going through. So then what happens to that? Why is it the dispensing of the funds to key infrastructure not prioritized as compared to them buying cars for themselves, giving themselves gas slips and scratch cards? I don't understand, Dennis. I don't understand.
Alice, you want to say something?
Yes, I think what he's saying is the fact the money is mentioned out there that is in the budget, but they never received the money. And if they did, it will just be something that will not cover everything that they need to do. So people that are even doing the maintenance work, they are not even getting pay. Maybe they get less than what they deserve to do the work. And so as a result, they will not do what they're supposed to do. And everything is corruption, dependency syndrome. Those are things that are keeping the country backwards. People can do something, they have the money to do something, but they want somebody to give them money. There is money, it's easy to put money in the budget and work on the University of Liberia, but people want outside help. It's not like here where even people who cannot walk in a wheelchair, you want to help them, they will say, I got it. They want to be dependent, but it's the opposite back home where people always want to get help. And that's really wrong. This is what keeping the country backwards.
Thank you. Mr. Sia, you drove around the city and other parts of the. I understand it. Smoke everywhere. People burning garbage burning, and garbage
Yeah,
everywhere.
hazard.
I mean, how is the city cooperation? We've had successive city management that are concerned about cleaning, and it appears that, as I learned, that the smoke is people get used to it now. Whatever is burning, you don't know, you just take it in. What did you see?
Dennis, we have a problem here in Liberia. I have not gone outside of Monrovia since I came, but I will conclude that it may be worse in Monrovia compared to other counties. I think this is the most populated city in Liberia, Monrovia. My understanding is that there's over 1 million people in this place, very congested. And so that's why we also see the huge pile of debt everywhere. From previous city mayor, the previous city mayor to this city mayor, there's stockpile of debt everywhere. Debt will be there for days and sometimes going to a week before it can be picked up. The population here is huge, and there's huge part of garbage being produced daily. And I am not sure that the city mayor has, the city corporation has all the resources and maybe not all the manpower, and maybe they may not even have the best strategy in place how to handle the daily collection of garbage so that there cannot be stored part of that garbage everywhere that will make the city to be stink. So you see part of garbage in places all the time. And in a weekly basis, they are picking them up, but some week they will miss some, and so you will see a huge pile here and there.
But where are they picking it up? Are they picking it up from a container, or they putting them on a dump pile? And there's
the communities have out of the city designated those areas. All the community people will decide, well, let's put it here because this is a free space here. Then that becomes a designated site where the city corporation will go and collect the debt. And that is the situation. The other one is constant burning of garbage. Constant burning of garbage in the communities. At where I have my office yesterday, somebody was burning something outside of the fence. And unfortunately for us, there was no current, so we have to open the main door for the air to flow through. And this person, set this huge garbage on fire, and the wind was blowing from that side, and everything was just going up. Then it was terrible. We were coughing, and it happens all the time. Everyone in Monrovia knows that there is no consideration for others. People feel that that's the normal thing to do. If we have a store part of debt, we don't. Maybe there's no way we can go and try. Let's just burn it, and that terrible air, is just going in the community. Another thing I want to mention quickly is the noise, from churches. Every block you pass by in every community, more than likely you will see a church. And these churches, as you Christian believe, you have to serve the Lord every day. Some of them are there 3 times in a week. I mean, if they are having a 40 days fast, forget it. That whole community will enjoy noise daily. Now, they want to use instruments, to worship the good old Lord. And they are not taking other people in that community into consideration. The microphone will be on the last volume. The speakers will be on the last volume. Because when that man of God is shouting, he wants the demon in that next door, the next house, who is not going to church, so maybe he might be a demon. That man of God, all the church members want that person to know that the old man is being worshipped here. The reality is, then the point I'm making is no consideration of others who might be sleeping in the day. These church people, they are just making noise. And I don't call that worship. I'll criticize that, very straightforwardly. That is not a worship. If you go to church, you pray quietly to your God, he will answer you. You don't have to disturb other people. But that is why you see noise, the sound. I mean, if you have an office nearby, they don't care. If there's a working place nearby, they don't care. They will use the last speaker, the last volume would be there, and it will disturb. And because Liberians are religious, everybody afraid to go to that church say, I think you are disturbing us. No one dare say that. You don't want to be seen as a non-believer.
Yeah. And all that is not Bible. And besides the churches noise, entertainment centers too are everywhere. Video club. And so the noise is just everywhere.
And then it's like along the streets in Monrovia, as you drive along. I mean, this has been maybe from the beginning of time, right? All our shops are all along the roads. All our shops, even when you go into the villages along the highway, shops you see are on the road. And that's how I think our development has been done. So the point here is, yes, the entertainment centers are all along the road. Every entertainment center must be close to a road somewhere. Maybe that just 2% you will see in the designated area that is not close to the road. The people want their entertainment area to be accessible by road. And because it's accessible by road, some people in the middle of the night, they are standing on the road, they are drinking, putting risks to their life, and other people who are maybe using vehicles to get by. And then as you know, the music will be loud. This is entertainment we're talking about. I mean, if the church can make noise and the people entertaining themselves will not make noise, let's hear from the man of God here.
Yeah,
But for me, I'm not a fan of that voice.
Somebody who eat Bible, what they are doing is not Bible. People are, because there are instances, as Pastor Pearson would tell us, there are instances in the Bible, people were doing that. And God spoke. Said, listen here, you're doing your hearts far from me. Only the lips. But this is, I've listened to former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf complain also about this noise from pastors, from churches, who believe that, God is deaf, that you have to speak on loudspeaker for God to hear you. This is completely unbiblical, Dr. Pearson. What do you think?
Well, I think that's one way to look at it, the way Anthony put it. But I would look at the culture of noise. Nigeria does have a culture of noise. If you went in my village in Harper City, you went in the villages in Plibo. First of all, when we're having fun time there, when the drum comes out, it's not going to play in low volume. Then as we play, be on the road coming to the village, you hear the sound along the road before you reach to the village. And I think it's the same with you. Yeah, on a village.
And when you right? because I'm a cultural guy, because our villages are not like that. That's a festival. That's a specific time.
That's what I'm telling you.
What you're talking about is not
Dennis, even our villages, when people put the drum outside the play, they don't play for the immediate environment. They play for the sound to travel. So I'm going somewhere with what I'm going. So let me learn the culture.
No, what I mean is not every night, because our people are the culture there is very regulated.
But even besides that, Dennis, it can be consensual. Before they play for you or do any kind of play, everybody can agree on a time and day. So nobody is surprised.
Y'all let me learn.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm speaking to the culture of noise. Speaking to the culture of noise. The second thing I want to bring to our attention here is that taken from the villages, come in town, right? Everybody that own tape in Liberia, when they rather play their tape, instead of playing it, they will bring it outside on the porch, and when they put it on, they want everybody to hear them playing the tape. It's culture of noise. I went way in one village one time they call Yangaya. Like you can walk the 8 hours to move in the town before you get to the Yangaya. It's a very nice in Bapolu. It's within Bapolu. I used to be in Lofa, but now it's Bapolu. It's within Bapolu. And one of my brother managed to buy, one of my in-law managed to buy one piece speaker I carry in the village. When I buy it, go whenever for holiday, my wife and son, when we got in the village, I saw my men high underwear, no shirt, with the wet underwear on, with boxer on, with speaker, with tape on his shoulder. You're passing the time with music backing all day once the battery was charged. So it's the culture of noise. Even the very Ellen Johnson say that is making all that noise. Ellen Johnson went to work every single time. The siren, the noise from a motorcade will wake you up from your sleep if you're resting. If you are going home, the noise from a motorcade will wake you up when you are going home. They are all noisy. Even the justice minister just put out a memo say only certain group morale should carry sirens. Even down the legislature protesters, they say they won't carry their own sirens, right? So Then you okay, so I agree now, having established that culture of noise, I agree that yes, there should be some regulations, there should be some guidelines. My own property, I got ELW Junction, right in the heart of ELW Junction, right on the main road. My Nigerian friend had a shop there and then he moved across the street from my property. When those guys are playing the music, there's no way for me to sleep until I got used to sleeping and not hearing it in my sleep. And there's nothing I could do to stop it. Even if I went to town hall and I went to see if I could, but then people say, oh, you whole pastor, you won't carry your friend in the neighborhood to the government, and I had to just let it go. The same thing goes for churches. Now, can we control this? We should, but how can we control it when even in the US right now, when I tell you, say that go have barbecue behind the hut, the police got to come and tell the tune down the speaker. Am I lying here? Even in the America, as small churches we got, when our American friends come and visit our Liberian church, they have problem with their ears. They tell you, say your music too loud. We are. It is a culture of noise, and we're used to it. Should we improve? I say yes. Let's try to improve and work on it. But until then, that's the culture we have ourselves in. With the dirt, Dennis, you'll be surprised. I got another property at Town Hall, Pinsville Town Hall. It's right opposite the Pinsville Town Hall. Adjacent the Baptist school, they got adjacent the Baptist school. PCC allowing the community to dump dirt right in front of my gate, right in front of the gate, opposite my gate. When I drop my car at the gate, I can better make a turn. I walk to PCC right opposite me and say, "But gentlemen, people getting authorization to dump dirt here." They say, "Oh, we getting authorization, but when the dump we can bring it, we come to pick it up." But we they just are overwhelmed. So there's so many issues that Liberia needs to fix, and I agree with that. But how can we fix it? I mean, it's a whole different problem. We can have a conversation about how to manage our waste. That would be a whole different program, Dennis. Because what I'm hearing from Liberia the last time I said, that the waste management in Liberia is politicized as well. People got preferred companies that they got chopping from. They want to be doing the waste management, right? So how do we manage some of these things? I mean, I hope we can get there.
Thank you. And noise pollution, not all sound is considered noise pollution. The World Health Organization defined noise above 65 decibels as noise. To be precise, noise is harmful when it exceeds 75 decibels and is painful above 120 decibels. Is it, Dr. Pearson called the culture of noise? I don't believe that. Is it ignorance, or people just don't care, or we have an irresponsible administrative system that does not care to regulate anything, or maybe they just don't know? Ignorance is disease. Alice, you're the medical person here.
I think it is ignorance, because I give you one example. When I used to be in Liberia in a community, I have played loud music, very, very loud. Like, everybody in the community is supposed to love the music I'm playing. That's how I thought. Until I traveled here, and one morning I had the music on. The next thing, police was at my door. Your neighbor just called and said that she can't sleep because your music is too loud. And ever since, I play my music very low. So somebody needs it. But then again, there are a lot of people back home that don't really follow instructions. So even if you told them, they're still going to do it. But it takes a government to make that regulation that you cannot do certain things in a community. Be considerate of your neighbor. They beat the church drums very loudly, 7 days a week. But other people have to sleep to go to work. Or maybe they think everybody almost got the same schedule. They go to work in the morning and come back in the evening. So they do things like nobody really cares, who is affected. So I think basically it's ignorance. And once people start talking about it, or the government start to regulate that, maybe it will help. But the pollution also from the dirt is another thing. Why will people burn the dirt when the smoke itself is creating another problem health-wise? But we are not thinking about that. People do these things because it's convenient for them, not considering other people.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just joining us, this is Tough Talking Thursday. We want to talk tough, yeah. And our man Anthony C is in Monrovia after spending almost a month, and he is telling us what he's seen on the ground in Monrovia. Some good, some bad, and some not so good. Mr. C, we also see that. Have you encountered the third lane? They say you have some big shots in Monrovia. They drive the opposite direction. In fact, there is a story where a justice of the Supreme Court bench was driving on the third lane, and then another citizen was there, and because of that, that person was held in contempt. That's another story. But what's your experience with this siren and then the third lane since you got there?
Dennis, it was good that I was not the one driving today when I was leaving from my business area heading home. If I were on the steering, there will be a story in the news right now. There is a driver who did not have a siren on his vehicle. He took the tail lane, and that was the opposite lane I was on, heading where he was coming from. My assistant who was driving, when he saw him with that speed, he moved on the right lane to give him chance. And I said to him, I said, wow, maybe it's good that you are driving, because I did not plan to leave this lane if I were driving. I was going to stop to see what he would do. Then it's part of the norm.
Go ahead. Describe for us this third lane for some of us who have not really seen it.
Excellent. Then in Monrovia, most of our streets, usually there is one lane going this direction, another lane coming this direction. But some, they say there are two lanes, on each side of the road. So the boulevard, let's use the boulevard, the road coming from City Hall going all the way to Congo Town. That is the Third Man Boulevard, they call it. So there are two lanes going in each direction. So when the traffic is heavy, sometimes the traffic is when you are heading to Congo Town. That traffic is heavy because those two lanes are jammed up. Then another person will use the opposite side, cross the double yellow line, which is the lane of the incoming traffic. Traffic, right? They will get on that lane and they will start to go. Usually, for the most part, it will be those drivers who have siren. Many of them government officials, from ministers to justices to lawmakers. Even some private people who feel that they have smaller money, they're doing business, they will get sirens. And they will take that lane, pom, 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 and the noise will be loud. They will make it loud so that you will get away.
Is it that no other cars are in that direction coming?
There are cars in that direction coming. They don't care. They feel that because they have a siren, you assume that as a government official, they are more important than you. And so you will get off that lane and allow them to go.
And it is not. When you get off the lane, where do you go?
There are two lanes on the direction you're going.
Okay. So
they're taking the one next to the opposite direction you are coming from. So once they get there, then you'll get on the right lane in your direction. The left lane on your direction is the one they are taking. That's why they are calling the tail lane. And they have sirens to do this. Some of them will not have siren, they will go. And some of them, they are like, well, some government officials, they don't have sirens, but they will get there. And they will tell their driver, my man, keep going. When the police stop you, they will show face. They'll call their name. Police will let them go. So I think to stop this, the Ministry of Justice issued a warning. I think I posted the statement. The main statement is right here. Ministers, legislators, judges, heads of agency, political appointees, private security escorts, and private citizens are not authorized to install or use sirens unless their vehicles fall squarely within the category provided by law. Yeah. That's what the statement said. So now because you are a judge, you are entitled to siren. Now because you are a lawmaker, you are entitled to siren. But then I tell you, a lot of government officials do have it because they don't want to be stuck in traffic. And so it goes to the bigger problem here, right? So is that a solution? You're not solving the problem. You are compounding the problem. And for them to find a solution to it, they're taking shortcut. So that is the issue. And it's causing a lot of noise. And there have been clashes in the street because of that. And I will not hesitate to clash with anybody. When I'm driving on this lane and you're coming that way, I will not move. I will stay right there. Maybe you will go by me and go on the other side. Because we have to push
they may hit you and cause an accident, right? Because they are speeding.
Yeah, that is possible, Dennis. That is possible.
Alice, how do you describe that?
Lawlessness. That's one word. So, not being considerate of other people. So, what happens when you have traffic? Because sometimes traffic can really be jammed on a Tottenham Boulevard. And the two lanes that's going the opposite direction are all filled with cars, and yet you see somebody coming directly opposite you. Where do you have to go? So it's risky for people that are driving on their rightful lanes. I mean, they need to find solution, because what is going on is not solution. It's lawlessness. So you make the law and violate the law. Why do they have 2 lanes or 4 lanes? It's for, study group of cars that go in one direction to follow that lane, and the others coming to use the other lane. But they're mixing everything up under the guise that they are authorized to do so. So if they feel that there's traffic, find solution. What if they build another street or make another lane, construct another lane to alleviate the traffic? But to think that they will, break the law by going opposite direction when there's incoming traffic, I think it's really wrong.
Dr. Pearson, what can we do about that?
Dennis, thank you. I think we can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I think we are back to where we normally will be saying the same thing for the next 20 years or 30 years, and we'll still be repeating ourselves. This is not a yesterday conversation, right? This is something that we've experienced, for time immemorial. And the way Anthony is talking, it sounds simple, but if you actually driving there, it is very, very ridiculous, Dennis. I've had people and myself who have come head to head, and like Anthony said, I'm too stubborn, so I will not move. I just park my car, and then we get into altercation, and then it will come to who are you and who are you kind of a situation before they will move the car, right? So I had a situation where one of my friends from LMP went so fast to hitting my car, and we went to the police station. He didn't know me at the time, but we became friends later on. And we went to the police depot. It happened right at the ERW junction. At the time, we didn't have the roundabout, ERW junction. And we had to go to the police depot in Joba there, sitting down there, and then we're there for the 30 minutes or so. It was after working hours, so we had time to kill. So I wasn't willing to identify myself. We're there working for another man, but then I got to go in jail because I didn't get way to pass, and he had to hit my car. I have to face his car and all that kind of thing. Until the traffic commander came, the boys and reported the case, the man drew diagram on the pole and all that kind of thing. They said, but my man, you wrong the other man here. They said he wronged me because he didn't have the right of way. Conversation from one to another, he identified himself as want something from LMP, and for that reason, I shouldn't have been on the road. They should pack my car, and then all kind of thing he said. So to call no matter short, finally they said we should ID ourselves. I took out my driver's license and gave it. He didn't have driver's license. He didn't have a driver's license. He said, he left his driver's license home. So then I came from one to another. I was tired, and so I took out my ID card and I showed my ID card, and the case was caught right there. He said, "Oh, my man, you know who off in the same era? I'm not from LMP, but at the time I was working with the office of the president, Madam Ellen Johnson Salih. So he said, you're all in the same government, blah 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 blah." And then that had a whole case went out of the Sunday, and I drove my car. My car was in sport, his car was sport, and our government car. His money got caught. He had to pay for that. He got to pay for the damage that I repaired that car from his salary. So these guys know what they are doing. It is wrong, but they go ahead and do it anyway. Like someone, our man Abu Dukle said, because of impunity, people feel they do these things, they go out any impunity measure. And answering nothing you just posted here, the legislators have stood up against it. They say the justice minister can stop them from riding with their sirens. So I don't know how the regulation going to go, but they're not going to buy it.
Unless you are muted.
All right. Just in case you're watching us and you want to talk about this, also please call the number that is on the screen. Is the number to participate is right there, so you can call. We want to talk about this because those of us who are not in Monrovia, we run the risk of saying, "Hey, they're just talking." As one guy would say, "Oh, they're pushing cartoon, they're eating hamburger and they're talking." So come and talk your own. 605-313-6004. The code is 791-403 #. Mr. C, I'm sure you also visited offices. I'm of the strong belief that they are Liberians, strong people committed to the country. They go to work and they want to work and do their best, right? Of offices you visited, do you see people working? Do you see people contributing? They go to work, you have 8 hours to work or so. When it comes to work ethics and all that, what did you notice?
Yeah, Dennis, I may sound a little biased. I did not get to visit a lot of government offices. Josiah Joker is my friend, so I'm always at his office. He's a very hardworking guy. Usually he up like 3 a.m. and he start to work for government. And then he goes to the office. Sometimes he's there up to 8 p.m. And sometimes even on Saturday when he should be off, when government is off, he will go back to the office and do some work. I can say without no hesitation, he's working. Another friend of mine is Dr. Imara Yure Yakbawuro. Yakbawuro is working. Yakbawuro work his heart out for government. So I know that. And so these two persons that I know I have the personal experience with because I'm close to them, their staff to follow that lead. I see their staff busy. They are printing letters. They are taking it to the offices and telling us this letter came from this place. This is what it's for. They will get instruction and then they will go back and then they will do it. And I see files that they are learning. So I see there are a lot of people that are working. I want to believe so. But at the same time, I see a lot of people who don't have any work to do, but they are employed. And so they are either standing around or sitting at a desk. Maybe it's a lack of capacity or no training or nothing to do or just be put on payroll. I see that. I see that. So both are happening. There are people who are working actually, doing their best and putting in the time and they have the capacity and efficiency to do so. Then at the same time, you see a lot of people with no capacity, no responsibility whatsoever. Some people just go there and sign in and walk out. And then you will never see them again. It's still happening. And that is a problem. And there are some people who are ghosts. That is happening, Dennis. And for example, we hear the stories so much, and I experienced it before I could come to the United States. That was during the Judy Bryant administration. I was offered a job to work with one of the representatives, and I didn't have a place to sit down. Everywhere, anytime I went to work, I would just be standing until another person would leave the seat. So I have to abandon that job. I didn't do that job. We were way too many in that office. So at some point, the representative said, well, I think what we can do, since you people are too many, you can stay home, you will stay get your pay. And I believe that might still be happening in other places of work.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking, why can we, have part-timers if that means something? Say, at least you work 3 days a week, the other person work 2 days this week, and we alternate so that there'll be space. Even if you're taking pay instead of causing traffic jam, because some of the things are causing the third lane, if you got too many people going, right, and you're not going to do anything. I know we cover a lot, and Mr. Sia, before you drop the mic, just even if it not happen, lie to me and tell me that something. No, I'm kidding. What are some of the bright spots that you saw? in the city that or in the country that you want to tell us about?
Dennis, I see a lot of talent in this country. The young people here with energy, with vigor, who really hungry to work, but the opportunities are not there. You don't find the support. And so their energy and these talents are wasting. And I think that energy, that talent, that is the gold mine for us as a country. And there where leadership need to be brought in to invest in the young people, the talents, for us to use the young, vibrant energy in a way that we can develop our country. For Liberia to be built, it will not be the minerals that we all talk about. Because we can get the money and build the roads if we don't have the manpower trained enough to maintain them as we see with our public facilities, then we basically have nothing. We can build the best airport. If we don't train people even to do the maintenance work, 2-3 years later, that airport will be smelling, as we see with some facility today. So that is the bright spot I see. And I can't think of any other bright spot in Liberia compared to any other thing. I think that's what it is. The country is young, it has a very young population. The population is very small. So if we do our best, not everybody will get PhD, not everybody will even get BSc, but there are employable skills. There are special skills that we can use to build this nation to an extent that every family would be able to live a life befitting of a human being. And this Liberia will be that glorious land that you always talk about. I'm told by Alice and others, way before the war, if you went to Yekepa, if you went to Nimba, places they have concessions, electricity. I saw a little bit in Greenville, Sando County, we have running water, we have LEC, we had that. And that is doable. Imagine many years ago in the 70s, in the early 80s, then we had that. Schools, you saw quality at the time. Teachers were teaching. And so if we had that before, we can have that more so now than is that we have the internet that we didn't have before. You can be there. You are a great teacher. You can be there and be teaching in Dodwaken. So how do we create that opportunity for you to teach in Dodwaken where you are staying in the comfort of America through internet and be able to wow those young minds to want to be like you, to want to be the engineers of tomorrow? Then there cannot be any other bright spot other than that. On the physical side, I understand that the government is engaging in some roads development. I saw a gentleman yesterday who drove from Maryland County, Plebo, and came to Monrovia in one day, and I didn't see much mud on his car. I asked him, how is the road? He said, oh, the road is good. The road is good. And there's a place he described there with how late pops hold that. So he said, other than that, the road is good. He's not the only one. Musa Bedete was asked on a live radio interview. He said the road is good, and many people testify.
And
so there are some good roads that have been built, and that is a good thing. But the bright spot I can emphasize on is the young and vibrant population that we have. But the danger to that is we don't have an education system that can rescue us. All the other rescue they've been talking about, that rescue will fail us if we don't address the situation of giving the skills that the young people need to build this country.
Thank you. From aware, Dr. Pearson, what are some of the bright spots? I mean, you interact with people in Liberia on a daily basis. What keeps you hopeful?
Right now, nothing, zero. Let me tell you why. You see, there's something they call hopeless situation. Hopeless situation is where you have the problem and you know the solutions to the problem, but there is no determination, no willingness, no capacity to employ those solutions at all. No willingness at all. And that's where Liberia is in terms of leadership. There are people who are in Liberia, they are fully aware of the problems, and they are also aware of the opportunities, but they have no regard whatsoever to change the situation. That's That's a sense of hopelessness. And there's no hope there right now, Dennis, to be very honest with you. That is why I, for one, have been telling my family, my relatives, that the leadership in Liberia must be taken seriously. We need leaders like someone like Alexander Benedict Cummings, who understands what it means to see problems and see opportunity and bridge the gap, right? And is willing to bridge the gap, and not willing to keep the gap there so that they remain powerful. And there are people like that. Some people in Liberia, they are powerful only because other people in poverty. There are some people in Liberia, Dennis, they are powerful and they will not allow you to work in government, because if they allow you to come in government, you will bridge the gap that they don't want to be bridged, even though they know the solution to the problem. They don't want you to be there. And if you got there, they will do everything to badmouth you. They will do everything to castigate you. And even if you got employed, they will do everything to undermine you and get you out of that office, because they will say the man is not one of us. The man is not doing the thing they wanted to be done. The man wants to close our eating. The man wants to stop our chopping. That's the mindset of some of the people in the country right now. And that way it hurts a lot to see us keeping people in offices who prefer to be powerful and rich, and the rest of the people poor, and feel that it should remain like that. And I would say to the Liberian people, we need a change of leaders, so that leaders who have not just the capacity to see the need and the opportunities, but with the willingness to bridge that gap, to bring everybody to a place where we all can work in the country to move it forward. Until that is there, Dennis, sadly, you will always see Ellie looking like that. And even if you paint it today, in the next 5-6 years, it will go back to where it is. Because they are not willing to see systemic change. They don't want to see systemic change. They want to just have political whitewashing, and every day there's a groundbreaking somewhere, and then there's a special occasion, ribbon cutting somewhere. Down for hand pump, they will call ribbon for it, right? A backyard toilet, they'll go break ground for it, for things that is their responsibility. They make it to seem as though they're doing the country a favor. No, they are not ready yet, Dennis. And I hope that Liberian people can wake up and see this.
Mrs. Mama, well, what are some of the bright spots?
Well, I don't even know where to begin from, So recently I had an experience in a chat room, and there was money that was supposed to be collected to build a community road. And I'm trying, I'm talking about this, when Dr. PSC mentioned that people are resistant to change. So we start collecting this money to help the community, and these people are back home. And as the people pay, I type the names in the chat room. And then in the morning, the lady called me and said, no, we don't do things like that here. So I said, well, I'm trying to be transparent. You collect the money and I write the names down. I'm not writing new names, but the same people that you're posting, the names that you're posting, those are the same names I'm compiling so that we'll not forget anybody. She was upset. But guess what happened? At the end of the day, no report on everybody that paid, no list, and when people try to ask, it was a big confusion. So up to this day, there's no report. So now you can't get other people to pay next time because the money they paid before, there was no report. So this is the situation that we find ourselves in the country. Some people know what is better. They know the right things. They have lived in the United States. And when back home, you expect people to carry what they learned or how the system works. When it comes to accountability and, responsibility. But no, they will not do that because they think the society doesn't like that. And so we continue in the same bad behavior. Nothing is changing year after year. So you wonder, is it the system or the people? It's a serious problem. We cannot have a change where people who know better cannot effect the change. And when people on the ground are resistant to the change, so they will make mockery out of you, they will castigate you so that you will not try to make that change. And because it keeps other people down. Many young people are, the situation sometimes is so pathetic. I saw a video where the boys and girls are like, we are willing to change. But how do you change them? There's no push. There are many people that got a college degrees, frustrating now, they don't have jobs. So how do they become successful when we say, okay, you need to go to college to be successful? And now they got a college degree, they still got to go sell bitter ball water side because there's nothing to do. So people in authority, they need to do something. If we want the country to be fixed, we have to make sure we help those who are willing to be helped and give people hope. The degree is supposed to bring hope, but every single year they graduating multiple of people and cannot provide jobs for them. And this is sad.
Thank you. We have a caller, so while I connect the line, Mr. C, you have some political eyes. A lot of political things happening in Monrovia. How is the government doing, and how are the people responding?
Well, politics everywhere, people are always divided on party lines. But it is obvious, any person can see between the lines that this person is saying this now because they are in power, and that the other person is saying this way because they are out of power. Then, as we know, when those who have political sides are in power, they will justify even the wrong. And those who are not in power, they will see all the right things, and they will see all the wrong things as well. And so that is the situation in Liberia. If you ask me, Dennis, I am not impressed. There is nothing yet to impress me. If anything impressed me, is the potential in young people and talents that I see that I talk about. But in terms of leadership, Dennis, I'm not impressed. Look, where we are as a country is a difficult thing. I don't want people telling me that, oh, they're building roads, they're building other government entities, buildings here and there. I'm not saying those things are not happening, but that would not call it. That would not call it, because if we want to move forward, then there have to be transformative leadership in this country. I don't see that coming from Unity Party, and I do not see that coming from CDC. And I will be very blunt about it. Let me repeat. Maybe somebody did not hear me. Transformative leadership that transform this country will not come from Unity Party. It has never come from there. It will not come from there now. It will not come from CDC. It did not come from there. It's not going to come from there even in the future. Never, because they don't know it. How in the world you are a leader in this country? Let me set an example on our president. How in the world is our president riding a car reportedly valued $1 million in this poor country, where to find a desk for a student at the University of Liberia is a problem? And a president feels comfortable driving a car valued at $1 million. How? How can we allot up to above $10 million to NSA on cover operation when the university is lying in ruin? When the prison compound that I visited is not yet painted? How do we make these kind of decisions? How can we afford a $45,000 car for nearly every minister, proper down to deputy ministers? But then it is difficult to even keep the internet on at Tottenham High. Do we even have internet at all our public schools in Monrovia? Let's forget about
Mr.
the entire Monrovia county. Do we even have that?
if you remember, we did a study on MVTC, and the money for MVTC is all for salary. Almost nothing left to even buy bleach for the bathroom. Let me bring in one of our callers here, Dr. George Toto. I first met Dr. Toto as Yula Bow of Director Chair, and he tried to deny my Dr. Toto.
Dennis, I heard Dr. Toto was taped to be president for the Bond University. Did he take that job?
I follow the development,
Okay.
and I want to contribute to the discussion according to what also the perspective of Nigeria.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
And I just came from Liberia. I went to Liberia for about a month, and I don't know what also the perspective and now with mine. And one of the things that caught my attention when it come to drinking among young children, especially the female. I found female drinking like a lot alcohol. The alcohol consumption is very high among young people, especially female. And I went to some of the entertainment center just walk around and to just observe. And what I saw, you see people displace huge quantity of empty bottle of alcohol they are consumed. They displace it to show strength that I can drink more than you. It's very, very high about the young people, especially when you talk about building or human capital, like also they're talking about. It's something that very concerning, alcohol consumption. I don't know how they regulate alcohol still in Liberia, where kids can just buy alcohol like here in the US, even regulated, you're reached a certain age to be allowed to buy alcohol or to enter someone go in. I don't know how it is doing Liberia. And then another thing that caught my attention was the issue of drugs. It's very, very bad, especially I went up country in some of the rural that far away from even the rural. You see some people in the village on drugs. And I even work on a project on my next book that I'm working on right now on the issue to address drug addiction and mental health in Nigeria. But it's very, very concerning. The challenges is so many. I don't know how these challenges can be resolved with one government. I don't really see the possibility of it. It's a collective effort that requires the hands of every Nigerian to address the ill that actually talking about. And then also on the issue of the noise. When it comes to churches, noise was President Eric Johnson said he spoke about some time ago. I don't know, and I just want to leave it on the churches also too, but even Islam, the mosque, I was in the Temple Village area. And where I was living, I was having a church, a charismatic church, and they have a mosque. Yeah, early morning prayer, and no church to go there to have that morning devotion too, and that's more noise that comes from there. So these are very environmental noise, and these serious concerns to be addressed to. But just to add to the discussion, that's why I call you.
Appreciate it, Dr. Toto.
Yeah. And then there's 1 second here. The drinking thing Dr. Toto talked about, I'm glad that he mentioned it. It is a serious issue. Last Saturday, I had an experience where I am. A group of young people heard about me, and so they came. These are all supers, and I'm going to put them on record here. And when I got there, they said, we've been here waiting for you. And so they chanted battle cry and all that. So they talk enough. I said, can I speak? They said, no, you're not going to speak until you put something on the table. They demanded that I should do that. And I did that. I thought that was enough. Comrade then came by and said, my man, you are a bourgeois, so you got to make sure that we get booze here. And they left that place, 90% of them drunk. And I tell you, many of them are working in the government. A good number of them, I identified them, they work for the Unity Party. These are the leaders of tomorrow we're talking about. They are taking pleasure in getting drunk. So that is a serious issue. On the noises, one thing I noticed, my previous trade, there's the microphone. Most of people that are doing petit trade, they can charge it. It's a speaker. They will automate it. Then it will just be making noise in the scratch car, nonstop. That thing will play for like 5-6 hours throughout the business day. Since I came, I have not heard it. I think I remember Emmanuel Ure Yaprabo speaking against that, and many other people, I think they cut it off. That is happening. But that's the only thing I see that has changed
Yeah.
concerning the noise. Yes, and I think it makes a lot of difference. I think that a person must have the experience. It was bad, and it's every community.
There's a little friend of mine who came to America. He said even when she's sleeping in America, she just lose that many, lose that many.
Exactly. It was bad last time I came, but since I came, I've not heard it. I think they put stop to that.
Well, Dr. Pearson, we talk about the drinking. I mean, we didn't even touch the drug part, but you think it's important, or you think of the body as the temple, so they're not supposed to drink.
Thank you, Dennis. I think it's serious. I think Dr. Toto struck a very good point. Answering portraits it. I was in Liberia in April. Yeah, I think when I was in April, it was the scratch card Lone Star said it was still going on. That nurse was still there. So it would be good if I went there and hear it again. But drug, alcohol is like a door opening up for other higher drug. A lot of people don't notice that, but that's a serious problem, because the moment our kids are more exposed to alcohol, for them to get introduced to other drugs and to use it, it's very simple and easy, right? To say no when they're already under the influence of alcohol. I'm not sure if we can, if much can be done to stop it, looking at how regulation would be over across the country, the capacity to regulate it. But it has been an age-old problem for us. Now that we have the drug stepping in, it's just going to exacerbate the problem. So I just keep my fingers crossed that we can do something about it. The only thing I used to hurt my feeling when I'm in Liberia looking at the people drinking, like Anthony said, you can see the bottles. I can be wondering how they can pay for it, because one of the bottles of beer, Tennessee are expensive. One bottle of beer, the bottle of beer, they start do all the things that has been, so they don't have money. They keep calling other people and asking for help, but they can afford to drink almost 2 crates of beer and things every evening. I mean, I don't know how they afford it, and I don't understand how they afford it.
I think the Henneken one bottle is about $400.
Yeah, yes. And there are some people who they will not give you money, but they can buy you liquor. Let me hear from Mrs. Malba.
Dennis, I think it is the mindset. I was back home, and what I realized is when you are back home, they think it's like a news, like Grandpa said, news, it's bluff. So you at the entertainment center, and then you have a lot of beer bottles and stuff. People would think that you have money, so they use it to bluff, as opposed to looking at it to be like it's a disgrace for a lady to sit over here and drink so many bottles of liquor. They don't see it like that. So a guy would be drinking, or a group of guys would be drinking, and the lady would just leave from a table and go, just grab some of that beer and start drinking it. So they don't see anything wrong with that. And because they look at it to be a sign of showing that you are well off, you got money. That's how they see it. Mm-hmm. But I think the government needs to start regulating. Because when you come to the United States, and always they say, we like to make comparison. Yeah, because we see a difference here. When you live back in Liberia and you move to the US, you see a big change. You don't want to drink liquor because people look down on drinking. So you are not encouraged to make it like a news, or in a big gathering or outside your home and drinking alcohol and proud and think that you are proud. No, people don't look at it here. So even when you're driving and police stop you and they smell alcohol, you are in big trouble. But back home, it's not like that. You can have a beer bottle driving and the police will say, give my own. So it's fun back home. That's why it is what it is. Children growing up, they see the adults doing it, and so they grow up doing the same thing. Yeah, so to change that, the government has to show some regulation to put everybody on the best track.
And this to all of you, right? Because almost everything we say government, why are we inviting too much of government in our lives? Besides, how do we discuss these things without using American standards? to say, well, this is how it's done in America, and so it should be done in it. How do we, customize these things to, who we are and what will benefit us? How do we do that? And this will be our kind of wrap up. We see our reporter in Monrovia is having trouble. I think he's gone now. So let's wrap it up.
Yeah. So the example you see that we're talking about here is something that we can do the comparison, because you have to compare. When you even advising your kids, you have to compare. See how your friends dress up. When you go into school, you need to learn to dress up the same way. Because people back when they imitate people in the US. See how they hang their pants? They learn the wrong things. But so if they're learning the wrong things, why you can't teach them the right things that will make their life better as well? So that's where the comparison comes in. And we invite government because people do not listen to people easily. Like go to somebody's neighborhood and tell them what to do. They might not listen to you. But if a government official comes and say, look, this is a law. If you do it, you're going to pay a fine. They might listen because they don't want to pay money or they don't want to go to jail. That's why we invite government to set the regulations, and then the people can enforce them.
Thank you. And Dr. Pearson, in addition to that, I think we should also incorporate these things in our educational system.
Yeah, you're right, Dennis. There's a lot that our kids can learn in school if we intend to do it. Like for instance, they will have an issue of drugs in the country. It makes sense to start to give them early warning from the maybe early elementary level, junior high up to senior high, give them some education on the danger of drugs, and not just hardcore drugs, but those things that we take for granted. Like I said, alcohol is like a door opening to other drugs. Alcohol is also an opening to prostitution. Take for instance, if you went to if the girl child went to the club or to the shop, and a boy offer you 2 bottles of beer, he's not giving it to you for free. As soon as he gave you 2 bottles of beer or 3 bottles, the next thing he's taking you to your crib. Like Brian Megan said, taking you to your crib. So, and then one thing leads to another. Your decision process is impaired by the alcohol. So there's a lot can go wrong. Can we do something about it? Yes. I know there were times, I don't know about other people, but I know there were times when I was young, you went to buy alcohol to the store or to the shop, they would tell you, say, no, you're too small. Right? They will tell you, no, you're too small. I know because it happened to me before. I also am aware that one time my father was living behind Monrovia City Hall, behind the Monrovia City Hall. Then one time I went on the dumper, we playing on the dumper. I think I want to defecate or something because it jammed me. I don't want to go home. So we were playing football. I run and they grabbed me and carried me to the Monrovia City Hall. My mother had to kind of pick me up from there. And I think she paid fine. Back then, all the fine, something less than maybe 30 cents. And for this and something that I actually paid a fine, and I got my whipping for it. And I knew now that next time when I play a toilet jammy, I gotta go to the house rather than go on the dump pad to go and toilet there. So some of these things work prior to the war, and it helped to keep our country in order. I think the war may have had some impact on us and how we approach the law, how we see the law, and the corruptness of our officials right now, and how they behave in office also. Maybe fueling the situation on the ground. Majority of our leaders now in government, Dennis, by the time you get a poor job and then minister, the next thing you see all of them on Facebook in Dikarabash.
Yeah.
They're showing down with liquor. Sad to say somebody take our girls' children home in the night after they leave from the club, and they're all ministers, they get in the cars, they're going home to go sleep with them. That's another way of encouraging prostitution. And while we see the girls being vulnerable like that, a lot of lack of opportunities, like our sister Alice have just said. They graduate from university and think, no, it's no job. Somebody want job, the man says, sleep with me for a fight, I gave you a job. Even down to the Lebanese people are doing it, right? So it's a sad event for us. And now that I see them breaking homes on a large amount of families, how many of our sisters now going to be in the club and going to be given to alcohol and given to drugs? And then maybe having to go and be somebody's roommate because they don't have a sleeping place. So a lot of things are happening in the country. Our leaders are not putting 1 and 2 together. They want to fight drug. They're displacing people at the same time. Then they display people and say they're going to Zogo area, they're going to break Zogo or something down the clean alleyway with no plan as to how to control the impact of the decisions and the actions. Until then, when we get some Alexander Cummings, maybe this will be a different argument we're discussing. Because
We're making campaign at the same time.
Alexander Cummings, Alexander Cummings understands what it means to change the situation. He's a process analyst, and I think they should give him a try so we can go another direction in our country very strongly.
Thank you. Well, thank you all very much, Mrs. Mumba. You're closing.
Dennis, the show was a great show tonight. I just think that we need to do better as a country. Relying on other people to do things that we can easily do. We need to stop it. We need to put priority on education, and not only educating people, but we need to put priority on jobs issue, because it's so terrible. It makes people frustrated that when they graduate, they can't get anything to do. And, bad habits will start coming in, stemming from frustration. So the things need to be looked at seriously. And the noise issue also, I think it has to be regulated. Everybody going to church, everybody got churches in their homes or in the community. You can find a designated area and build a church. But to have all the churches spread up in a community, other people are inconvenient. Not that they are not Christians, but they need to have a peace of mind as well. So all the things, we need to do something about it as a country. And dirt, we need to start burning dirt because it pollutes the air and other people get sick from that. All the things, we have to be considerate of other people, not because we can do things and so they are fine because we are satisfied, but think about the next person. That will be my closing statement.
Thank you. Dr. Pearson, your closing, sir.
Thank you for having me tonight, man, Dennis. And I want to say thanks to Anthony. I know you had to go off the air, but thanks to Anthony for the time he's spending in Liberia and for giving us feedback. And like Sister Alice said, look, the young people are the future of our country. And I think we should do right by them to ensure that the learning process is conducive. And there's no reason why now computers and internet should not be at all our learning facilities. And our kids who are learning how to use the internet can have access to global networking in terms of libraries and education materials that are out there. You may not have all the books in Liberia, but majority of the quality of books are online right now, right? And then if you have a strong online library, our kids can go and do the research and do the studies online, and thereby also build their capacities and their strength. And in addition to that, I just pray and hope all the time I'm talking about this, that our learning will be targeted. Link the learning with the different areas of concessionaire in the country. Like, why would somebody be going to go learn about certain course in university when they're going to graduate and don't get a job? What is it that the companies need in terms of work? How can we tailor that to our university learnings so that our children graduating and they are fitted for available jobs that are already current in the country, that foreigners will not have to come from outside and come and do it in our country? What are some of the things that we need to improve upon as a country that we don't have the infrastructure that we want to do, that we can train a generation of our children to start to place them in those areas to start doing those things? India, for example, they are close, Dennis. India go outside, they bring experts and work with their population, train them, and they build things together, like they did the satellite they launched to space. Now, like they're doing the submarine that they're building. They even went as far as loaning the submarine from Russia that is in India right now, that Indian students are on the submarine with Russians, learning how to build submarine. By the time they are done, when they're launching the submarine, the Indian kids that got trained along the Russians will be left behind by the Russians, and they will be now operating the industry for the submarine in India. Why are we not doing this for our own young people? Why do we want them to be on the road celebrating us? Why do we take them from school to line up on the road to receive Joseph Boyka? When they go by the school, no bench to sit down on. Let us think about these things. It does not make sense, Dennis. Thank you for having me tonight.
You muted, Dennis.
Yeah, thank you. Even those who we want to thank our viewers, those who commented, those who call in. Thank you for enriching the program. Thanks to Anthony for the insight he provided. Always focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Continue to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, on all major social media platforms. The analysis and things that we do from Focus on Liberia, you can't find them anywhere else on the planet. Since the fall of the Malayan Empire, it is crystal clear that what we do here is by far the best you'll see. Until then, we're going to close with a song that says, "We are all Liberians." Have a good night, and may God richly bless you.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.